evening, everyone. Welcome to the Joint Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. Tonight is February 9th, 2016. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. The agenda has been approved.
Mr. Chairwoman, the Finance Committee does not have quorum this evening, so we will not be calling to order.
Okay. All right then. It's way short of a meeting. Okay, so tonight we'll be hearing the Ayer Shirley Regional School District FY17 budget presentation. We have Mr. Pat Kelly sitting here from the school committee, and Dr. Mary Malone, Superintendent of Schools, is also with us. If you'd like to join us at the table. And we will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Malone in a second. Thank you for the time. We've spent several months putting this budget together. High level, things that you're aware of. Our resources go down from the feds and from the state. And those are the primary drivers, and we'll get into more details about that. I think you'll also see some of the trending good news that's happening in the district in terms of choice out and choice in. The trending that we had hoped for when we first talked about regionalization in the high school project is now, I think, a trend because it's 3 years running. And you'll see that data tonight. And that impacted the budget this year by about $250,000 on assessment, because what we estimate our fixed increase in cost is about $1 million, and our assessment increase totals about $750,000. So we'll show you the specific numbers in a moment, but I think those trends are what we hoped for, and we're starting to see the positive impact of those trends on our ability to put a budget together for the FY17 school year. So, Dr. Malone, please go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you for having me in the school department here this evening. I just want to make sure everyone got a budget booklet and provide you some detailed information about the school district. And in the back of it is the budget, the actual budget. Has a table and contents in front, so you have the most recent budget before you. This would be the second iteration of this budget since the governor's budget came out on January 27th. And then you have a PowerPoint in case you want to take notes or ask any questions throughout the presentation. Our agenda this evening will share with you some highlights and trends in the district, what our budget drivers and the process, as Mr. Kelly alluded to a few minutes ago, the assessment for each town, some of our program enrichments, and then we'll take questions. So our vision statement is up there, and I'd like to turn your attention, the first sentence, the last two words, academic excellence. That is the business of a school district, is academic excellence for each and every student, to reach their fullest potential, to prepare them to be college and career ready. It is my responsibility as a school superintendent to ensure that we have talented teachers, rigorous curriculum, and engaged students, and that will move this district forward. Some of the highlights from this school year: our high school is completed. It was on time and under budget. Our enrollment has reached 400 students for the first time in 15 years. This year, students have been accepted to Norwich, Hofstra, Clark, Temple, U.S. Military Academy, Maine Maritime, and the Massachusetts Maritime. And we have a student that's on the Naval Academy list. Nice. In the process of that. So,
Go Navy.
Yeah, there you go. Last year, the 215, we were a silver medal recipient as one of the top high schools in the United States and Mass. The high school, since the voters and taxpayers in the communities of Ayer and Shirley voted to build a new high school or renovate, and you're now fully accredited. The NEASC Association has removed the high school from the warning status for community resources. The Student Council was recognized by the Mass Association. We had full student participation in the Hour of Code, and that is computer programming and coding. A new course we'll be offering at the high school. Our robotics team, as you know, is just hitting the ball out of the park. And just we were placed on the College Board's Gaston Caperton Opportunity Honor Roll. And that was an honor roll for us serving underrepresented students in the district. So there was criteria such as students that are applying to more than 4 colleges, SAT scores of 1,500 plus. So it's a pretty significant honor, and only 130 districts in the country received this honor roll, and 13 in Massachusetts. So that was pretty
Very good.
significant.
Nice.
As you can see, our enrollment has increased. We're up 35 students this year. And that includes our out-of-district placement students. So the school choice trends have you note in FY03 to right before regionalization, you had a steady increase, or we had a steady increase in school choice students. And if you look at the regionalization, our school choice numbers, the orange bar, they're going down. So students are opting to stay here in the district. And I do have to say, when we look at our 8th grade and their applicants, those students that are opting to, that vocational education or other educations may be a good fit, the number is way down. The 8th graders, they took the tour of the high school, and as well they should. They're loving it, and they're choosing Ayer Shirley Regional High School. So we're very pleased with that number. And we have students that are choicing in, electing to come here, which is a good thing. Our district is desirable to other families in other communities. The charter school students, you'll see the same trend. Charter students, we don't have any control over what students do, but again, I've said this last year when I came to the board, that it is about a fit, and there are some students who ought to go to other schools, and that is fine. We only want students to leave. We don't want students leaving because they don't feel they're going to get an excellent education here. The charter outbound students from 05 to 11 increase, and since regionalization, you can see that has decreased as well. So those are positive trends in the district, that students are opting to stay here, which is your mission and your vision. As a town, we know that good schools are vibrant, help maintain vibrant communities. This slide gives you a history of the regional budget, starting FY13, the general fund. And I may ask Mr. Plunkett at any time, he can weigh in over here. He helped produce the budget, so if you have any questions. Starting at FY13 over to FY16, the last column shows you an average of the 5 years, including this proposed FY17 budget. You'll see where it says House 2, that budget, that was the governor's budget that came out on January 27th. And as you can see, the highlight of this budget is this is a 2.9% increase from FY16. This has been the lowest budget since you regionalized.
A lot of data there. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just so you know, the handout doesn't have that page.
Okay.
It's missing page 3.
Oh, really? Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Stuck in the copiers.
Assessment history. So this, you can look at each year, FY13, the assessments go up, as do budgets, as do costs, as do health insurance, retirement costs. The increase this year was $757,699, which was an increase assessment of 4.7%. Again, I'll point out that it's the lowest increase since you have regionalized. And you'll see a little bit later on that how the district, that we have absorbed some of our fixed cost increases. This shows you our revenues from FY16 to FY17, Chapter 70, FY16, and then the governor's proposal. I think we got $5 more per student, which would give us an increase of $35,000. Regional school transportation, the governor as you know, or you may not know, the regional school transportation is eligible for a 9C cut, so at any time in the state budget when they had to cut, this would be one of the lines they cut. So it's not something we can count on fully. The that number, Bill, what's that? Is the governor's proposal 60%, 70%?
Last year it came in at 62%,
Yeah.
and this year they're hoping for 60 to 70, that range.
Yeah. We budget a little bit lower than that because, again, it's a number that can change, and it's never been fully funded. We actually, Mr. Plunk and I and a few of our school committee members attended a meeting today, a meeting of regional school districts, and they were talking about regional school transportation, that if we could get to 80%, we'd be really happy with that reimbursement.
Although the law says it's supposed to be funded at 100%.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mm. It's only the law, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So we estimate our increase in receipts will be at 35,663, and then we look at some of the decreases or our costs for school choice sending tuition, charter. Our total estimated charges, we anticipate a net increase to our budget of $13,321.
It's better than a decrease.
Yeah, it's always better than a decrease. Positive.
It's positive, except in a single year, we can't run a whole district on $13,000.
Of course.
Right.
I was just gonna say, we
Yeah.
can buy maybe 5 books or something, but, you know.
A few things I'll point out. The two charter lines. So you see the charter tuition reimbursement, the third row, decreasing. The reason for that decrease is that there will be fewer kids in charter, and so by the time we get reimbursed, the number is down. That's ostensibly a good thing because there's less money going out. Except that that's another legislative area that Governor Baker is after. The current program or process or protocol is that charter school reimbursement is 100% the first year and then 25% for the next 4. And he's looking to stay with 100% the first year and then nothing after that. They also, which really doesn't show up anywhere in this, but recategorizing
Economically
economically
disadvantaged.
disadvantaged
Right.
students, which also eats into resources we used to get.
Right, that's been very impactful to a lot of budgets, in particularly the urbans. Free and reduced lunch, or low-income students were always identified through the free and reduced lunch application process. And now they're going to be identified through enrollments in federal programs, state programs such as the SNAP program, food stamps. The irony today when Mr. Plunkett and I were at the meeting, one of the things that one of the actions they said a school district could take would to be encourage people to apply for food stamps or welfare, so on and so forth. And I'm thinking,
Why?
you know,
It's not your job.
well, you know, and I mean, we're trying to, you know, there's a lot of controversy about that in people, and that's really kind of intruding on people's lives. But, right, Bill, they said that could be one of the actions that you could take, or to, you know, and then of course you have, particularly in the urban districts, your undocumented immigrants who are not going to, you know, are afraid to go in those programs. They have more trust in a school and filling out a free reduced application than they would to go to some of the state aid. So that's could cause a real dilemma.
Would it be a circuit breaker? What did you have last year? What do you anticipate for next year?
So circuit breaker, we received about 750,000.
780,000 in FY16, and they said it's going to be level funded. Again, that's a pool of money that depends on appropriation. So.
So we will be applying for it. We have to, that process will be taken soon for this year, so we'll see.
Special education makes up 9.2% of this budget. And circuit breaker is only a percentage of reimbursement after you've spent 4 times the average cost of a single student that you spend on everyone else. So you got to get above 50K a year placement in order to start to get reimbursement.
Right, so our special education budget this year is around $3 million. And we are looking at some ways to mitigate those increased costs by improving some of our programming here in the district, which I shared with you last year. So now we need to continue that continuum, if you will, from K to 12 special ed services. Particularly at the high school, we've seen an increase in students on the spectrum, and those are students with Asperger's or autism. And so we're adding special ed teacher for those students at the high school. And oftentimes, those are some of the students that are going in those out-of-district placements because we don't have the programming there. So I'm looking forward to some restructuring, and we certainly want to provide students with what they need and what they're entitled to, but we also want to ensure that the program that we do is targeted for the students who really do need it.
Is a good development that the school committee was in support of in terms of adding a position, because not only is it financially smart, but it allows a kid to stay in their own community and not have to, be transported an hour and a half somewhere to another program.
Yeah, no, I've heard great things about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we reestablished our CPAC, the Special Education, Parent Advisory Council, and parents are really excited, and they've elected offices and all of that. So we're, it's a lot of positive momentum going on. So these are the increased fixed costs, or what we call our budget drivers. When Mr. Plunkett and I sit down and build a budget, start with, okay, what are our costs? We've been notified. The first line is the salary for all non-union and non-union employees. That's a level funded, what we paid out last year. That includes employees' step increases, lane changes, all of the unions, the custodial and food service workers, non-union folks. The health insurance, Mr. Plunkett was notified that we will have an 11% increase. We have more claims.
We have better claim history on our group now.
Yeah.
So we're at the higher end of the rate.
Yeah. So this is the second year. Last year we had 11% increase as well. And I think the year before that was around a 3%. Health insurance for retirees, that is also increased, and that's going up 43%. Special education transportation, 10%. We've increased with the new high school. There are filters that need to be changed about every 6 months. The whole HVAC system that's on the roof, so we had to increase our expense for that. The pension assessment, again, that is something that the regionalization bill we're catching up, still in a
Our
catch-up
demographics,
phase.
Yep, they have a better picture of our demographics and our retirees now.
So some of this is catch-up for us. McKinney-Vento, last year we only budgeted, I think, $15,000.
Right.
And we've already expended about $30,000 in the McKinney homeless students. And
Seen a big increase in that population in the last couple of years in town. And the transportation is an unfunded mandate from the state in order to get them to and from school.
This may sound like a strange question, but if a student is homeless, where do they get their transportation?
Hotels, yeah.
I see. So you would already know where the students are located.
They
so
would
you
contact the school and let us know, yeah.
we have to arrange it. So sometimes what happens, how that can be so costly, so say for example, a student is a family becomes homeless that lives in Ayer, and the state has to place them in, Gloucester.
Another school, right?
Right, so then, and they have the option of choosing to come to their home district for their schooling. If they so choose, then we bear that transportation cost from Gloucester to Ayer each day. Yeah. And then property insurance, that has been increased because of the high school being finished.
It's worth
So
more.
it's worth more, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's more than
Just like your home.
But that's a
going
good thing.
Yeah.
You want to keep that insurance.
Yeah. So our fixed cost increase, our total is $937,729. And if you look at that, where are the direct services to our students? Resources, materials, technology. Our teachers, I will advocate for them. We do have to have our teachers. They are a direct resource.
Yes.
And we need those. Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
important.
Yeah. And we want them to be healthy, so I guess you could keep,
Yeah.
making
It
the
helps,
cause.
it helps if they're healthy.
Yeah, you can keep making a cause and connection for each of those. So our budget process, each year I bring forward a budget that's responsible and reasonable, working with the school committee. And then, of course, my job is to advocate for students and teachers and their needs, their academic needs. That's the business. Our business is education. So the committee agreed with my budget that I presented that it was an accurate representation of the district, but it was a $1.1 million budget, and so it's not a feasible budget for the members of towns. So the school committee gave me some scissors, and no. So the school committee did ask me to provide a budget that would sustain current program and be in support of the towns and be sustainable and feasible. So I am required to advocate for the students, and that is my passion. That's why I'm here. That's what I love, education and students. And I have a budget that provides the best possible education to students, and that over the years I will need to certainly include. So the next slide shows the areas for growth, but it's not included in the budget that you see. So in our elementary schools, K to 5, K to 8, we really, our resources there, I will have to say, are secondary. They're older resources, and so I'm really going to have to build a plan to starting with the, I put them in the order of priority. So the literacy program right now, we are looking at different literacy programs, and we'll look at some piloting, and we'll move to buy a new literacy program for our students. An early childhood coordinator, out-of-district coordinator. As I've gotten to know the district much better and learned about our special education and our programming there and who is in charge of what. The early childhood program we have in Ayer Shirley, the pre-K program, is a real asset to this district. It is the entrance into this district for our students. So a lot of students might be in the pre-K program. We want to keep them. We want to grow. So we've really, but there's a lot of coordination because it involves childcare. We have special ed students that have services there, and the program is growing. So I will at some point advocate for that in the out-of-district students. That needs a lot of supervision, and it needs a lot of meeting time, because the goal is always to improve programming and bring students back, and that really needs a person to focus on that. So I at some point, a literacy coach and mathematics coaches, all aimed at helping teachers improve their instruction in the classroom. And our students are digital natives, and at some point we've got to create environments that are digital. And so that is a goal as well. So these were the two budget options, were to include the superintendent's budget, fully fund it. The bottom line would be 11.3 increase the assessment. Total increase of the budget over FY16 at 6.3. But we went with a level service budget that is still providing our students with a good education, and is feasible and sustainable for both the towns of Ayer and Shirley. As you can see, the increase to the FY17 budget was 2.9%, and it translated into an overall operating assessment increase of 4.7%. So the total operating assessment is important to that number there, that's $757,699. If you saw our fixed cost increase, they were around $900,000. So when Mr. Plunkett and I we looked at ways of creating some efficiencies through some attrition in some positions. So we were able to reduce that number that we're increasing to the towns by a couple $100,000.
And I'm sure you picked up on it, the reason the total budget increase is 2.9, but the assessment is bigger than that was because our new revenue is $13,000.
Yeah.
Right. So the only other place we get revenue from are the towns. Although we did have a new program launched this year,
The international student
Yeah.
program, yeah. I talked about it last year, so we have this international student program where students will come over from different countries, and we've had an applicant, and we've accepted that student. We received the student's transcript, so we're waiting to hear back. And we hope to, by the start of next school year, my goal is 5 students for the first year. So that will bring us some tuition. There's other things that Mr. Plunk and I are looking at to increase revenue, but as you know, the business of a school system is not to raise revenue, but certainly to be responsible, keep our costs down, and look at ways of, increasing some revenue. So the FY17 operating assessment is $16,727,989. That increase was $757,699, which is a 4.7% increase. So for Ayer, this is the last year of the phase-in, the regional agreement that was started when you regionalized, that had a financial component in agreement to it between Ayer and Shirley. This is the last year. So Shirley is now at, I think it's like 52%, that's their full foundation enrollment share.
Foundation enrollment is 42.6%.
42.6. And Ayer, Shirley is,
Ayer is 53.
no, that's what I meant, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Shirley's 42.
Right, I meant, yeah, so 52, you're 53. So you're less $162,000 you would have paid last year, $809. So that's an increase to you of $251,135, a 2.6% increase. Shirley, this is their last year, so $162,809 is shifted to them. So they're at 100% of their foundation enrollment. And the increase to Shirley is $506,564, which is an 8.2% increase to the assessment, but we're going to explain that number in the next slide or two. Why is there such a large discrepancy between Ayer and Shirley? Because it certainly looks. This is the operating assessment and excluded debt. So this changes the number a little bit. You want to speak to that, Bill?
Yeah, this is what we actually do the assessment invoices off of, because it includes the debt, which is about 1.4 million, with $1 million going to Ayer and 380,000 to Shirley. So we add the excluded debt back in and add it to the operating assessment for your total operating assessment and excluded debt number, which is what will be divided to the 2 towns.
So this is the foundation enrollment. This is the calculation of, this is how the state assesses or determines what we call RLC, required local contribution. So if you look back to regionalization, Shirley's, I think that was the year before FY12. 11-12 was your regionalization year, right? Yeah. So Shirley's enrollment went down. And then from FY16 to FY17, they had an increase of 34 students in their foundation enrollment, which increased their required local contribution. And Ayer had a decrease of 15 students, so that slightly decreased. No, it didn't. You still had an increase.
Ayer's
Yeah,
increase
just a
is
little bit.
$18,000 increase,
But you did have a decrease in your foundation enrollment, sorry.
but the dollars are up 18,000.
All right. So the next slide, I didn't see the pie chart. So what did we do in this budget without, with a third?
Because I hit it. For this meeting, I hit it. I
Oh,
didn't know
I'm
you
sorry,
wanted to
okay,
show
all
it.
right, that's okay.
I thought he said he hit it.
Unhide.
Yeah.
He did say hit it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the paper, but it's,
Yeah.
No, because we're missing all the odd pages.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
no, it's this one with the pie chart.
Oh,
Yeah, it's that
okay.
one there.
Yeah, that's the breakdown of the Shirley assessment.
So none of the backsides were copied apparently.
Okay, well, I'll have to,
We'll send you the odd pictures.
oh, I'm sorry.
Not your fault, it's the
We'll send
copier.
you the digital version.
The
Anyway.
machine broke.
So in this budget.
Exit show mode and
Yeah.
unhide.
I have to do it up here.
Pay attention.
Oh. See a little technology
Yeah.
lesson.
No, I already emailed Cindy for my issue. She sent me how to work Excel,
Oh, good.
how to get the ribbons back.
You know what, I don't know on this one.
No pressure, Carly. Everyone's watching.
Yeah,
Fully edit.
we're just, waiting. That's okay. No pressure.
There we go.
So I think if you press this one,
18.
the slide store, and then you can unhide it.
Oh, there it is.
There it
High
is.
chart, yeah.
That was the right clicks like that. I don't know how to do it here.
I didn't make the high. Come on.
I don't know how to unhide it here
Too much to do.
on this thing.
Yeah.
I only know how to unhide it when it's on the computer.
Awesome.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
It just,
You do have it on the paper in front of you, so you can go.
yeah, so Shirley had an increase for the RLC, as I just pointed out, and I don't have my reading glasses on, Bill, so that number was about 162,000. So the RLC was the 147.
147.
140.
147 was the
okay.
RLC.
So that was the RLC, and then,
162 was the phase-in,
Right.
final year of the phase-in, and then about 195,000 was the net balance or the balance increase.
right, from the school department, so that really was, I think, 2.9% here.
I can't read it either.
Yeah, okay. I have readers, but they're both there. So that's how that breaks down.
Quick question.
Sure.
I know last year or the year before, there was some questions over Shirley's required local contribution, what it should be versus what they were actually being charged. How much closer does this increase bring them to that?
Yeah, this is a bigger bump than we had anticipated. They're still behind,
Okay,
but not as steeply behind as they have been.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, they're bringing them closer to target, but they cap it at 70%. So whatever the difference is between what they can pay and what the state says they should pay, they can only reduce it by the 70% of that difference. So they are getting closer.
Good.
But it's going to be probably at least one more increase in the coming years.
So enrichment's in this budget, so with the 13,000 of the net increase to our budget, we were able to maintain reasonable class size, sustain our current programming, all of the enrichment at the middle school, the foreign language in 8th grade. If you remember, the 8th graders are taking either Spanish 1 or French 1 will have high school credit when they enter as 9th graders, excuse me. We're still working on strengthening our pathways for students to choose a STEM pathway, Mass Core, early college and honors program. This year, we're adding high school courses of AP Chemistry, AP English Language and Composition, and Computer Programming. All 9th graders will take biology. They've been taking, it was Earth Science last year. This year they're taking Engineering 1, but they really should be taking biology to increase our competitiveness with area high schools. And this would enable the students to get on, particularly in the STEM pathway. So they would take the biology as 9th graders and then chemistry as 10th graders. And then 11th grade, they could take AP chemistry. So that creates that pathway. The text and materials, the textbooks just for the AP English Language and Composition were $12,000. Implement the international program, I just talked about that. We are, and again, this is through attrition. So when I look at some of the positions and some of the ratios and the need, we just reallocate, and the teachers in the 2 elementary schools have been asking for an instructional technology teacher, so we're going to be able to add 2 teachers, 1 at each school. We're adding an employee portal for software. We do have to add a grade 2 teacher at the lower 8 White for class size, and we are going to add 1 full-time custodian at the high school so that we can adequately maintain that building and keep it in the condition that it is in now. We're improving the preschool program, as I noted earlier. Developmental guidance is something I'd like to start implementing, which is a regular program implemented in the classrooms by the guidance counselors. So it has a curriculum that they follow. It could be on self-esteem, social skills, bullying, but it's administered on a regular basis. And we're doing a partnership with Mass Insight. With the increase in our AP courses, last year we had 28 test takers. This year it looks like we could have 78. So that's a significant increase. So with that, this particular group will give us some assistance and some extended professional development for our staff, some tutoring for students. So it's an enhancement to our AP program since we're growing at a very fast rate in high school. This is the budget timeline, and tonight here we are on February 9th, here in the town of Ayer. March 1st is when school committee will vote or elect to certify the budget. And then we have 2 town meetings. Shirley's is April 23rd and Ayer's is May 9th. This last slide is just an update on the state budget approval. So in April, the House will debate and approve its FY 2017 budget. In May, the Senate does the same. Then in June, a joint House-Senate Conference Committee will reconcile the differences between these 2 budgets, and hopefully we'll have a final budget by July 1, requiring the governor's signature. So,
If there are any significant revenue shifts in the House or the Senate budgets, then, as you know, our only ability as a school committee, because we've done this each of the previous years, is to certify a budget. And then if the picture does change after that, we have the ability to come down. We never have the ability to increase once we've certified. So if there are some additional monies put aside for schools, then school committee will revisit that as we have in previous years.
so we're happy to take questions, and thank you for your attention. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation.
The only thing I have is, I heard there was a decrease in 2 teachers at Page Hilltop because of smaller classes. Is that, no? Is that the case?
We're going to
Second and
reallocate 1
fifth grade?
teacher.
Oh,
No, 5th grade, no.
No.
No, it's 2nd grade, yeah.
2nd grade?
Yeah, because it would be very low class size, so that teacher will be going over to the Laura White.
There's a bubble grade, just like we have to add one in
Yeah.
law, there's a
Right.
bubble
Right,
grade.
right.
And you kind of end up having to have an extra second, then the next year, an extra
Right.
3rd grade teacher and so forth.
right.
But, class sizes of 14 students is just not sustainable, and those are the costs that I would have to bring back to the towns to support. So we want reasonable class size, and certainly 20, 22. Sometimes it does go up to 23 or 24 in the lower grades, which is not optimal, but we have great teachers, and those classrooms can be sustained, and they're going very well. So sometimes you just, as Mr. Kelly said, have a bubble, and you can't add 2 teachers, you have 24 students, you have a 3rd teacher, now you have 16 or 15.
Right.
And, it's kind of,
Well, it's better than having 35 when I went to school.
exactly.
I don't think it
We
affected me at all.
Ayer Shirley has excellent class sizes, very good. They're,
Yeah, we would not go to 35.
No, it looks good. Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Any questions? Robert?
Through the chair, Dr. Malone, and to the
I'm not chairing this
No.
meeting, I'm sorry.
You're fine, you're fine.
to Dr. Malone and to your team in the school committee, I just want to say, in your overall budget book as well, it's great to see the 3-year capital plan for all of the schools. I know it's something that, since I've been here almost 6 years, that the towns have asked for, and we've talked about with the district. And I know that there are a lot of, the focus of tonight's presentation was largely on the assessment, but it's great to see a 3-year capital plan for the schools, and I know there'll be a lot more discussions on those projects and how to fund them.
thank you.
We do appreciate the support given when we came before the communities to establish our capital stabilization fund. The school committee took $200,000 of our E&D, which makes our E&D scarcely low, but right now, when we have to do projects, it's generally capital related, and so having that money there allows the school committee by a 2/3 majority to be able to take action on fix things that need fixing. And
Not waste.
some of those projects which are smaller dollar, you know, we're gonna take care of with those monies and get them done quickly. The larger ones, you're right, and at some point in the next 4 or 5 years, you're gonna have to start thinking about what we're gonna do with the elementary school. We wanna be wise to make it last, but also not sink so much money into a sinking ship, as it were.
Can we email a copy of the PowerPoint so it can get printed, the whole,
Yeah, we will. I apologize.
No,
I didn't
it's
double
all
check
right.
it, but
happens?
you know, to Pat's point, I was just leaving the Page Hilltop, and I don't know if you've driven by at night, but, you know, just a simple enhancement of improved lighting. If you look at the front of the building, there were lights that weren't working, and, you know, one of the custodians was out front, and she said, you know, thank you so much, because it was, you know, it was like a dungeon when you came outside. You know, they have to snow blow at night, they have things, work that they have to do, so the inmates coming back in April, they'll be at the Laura White in February, and they're doing painting, and then they're coming over to the Page Hilltop in April. So, you know, teachers are happy, we're
During
improving the
vacation,
environment.
not
Yeah,
All depends on what kind of project.
Run a
yeah.
scared
So,
straight program.
Yeah, and we are gonna look into, you know, placing some of the shades at the Page Hilltop, because they're just not manageable, and they're falling apart, and there are many classrooms without any shades at all, and the teachers, right, the heat, it's not even something that I would expect anyone to, so that's the next project up there, so.
I'm all for air in an office, in a classroom.
Yeah,
I work in a place that, you know, it's 88 degrees, so I hate all the time, so
Yeah.
I'm all for getting air for people.
And it also has to do with security, you know, in case of a crisis, you know, pulling down the shades, so it's safety as
Yep.
well.
Absolutely.
As far as an, you know, optimal academic environment with technology showing all kinds of things, you need to bring the shades down, and there's, you know, and just for the teachers' comfort and students. So.
Curiosity question. This may not be the right venue, but what would be, I guess, the overall plan for the Page Hilltop? Because, you know, I've gotten some questions from parents that, you know, it seems to need a severe rehabilitation or a replacement. And what is the time frame that you would anticipate starting to look at that?
The school committee decided this year not to submit an MSBA project for, you know, programs they have for things like boilers and roofs and windows. Those are some kind of short-term things you could do, a couple of million here and there. We did ask Dr. Malone and Bill to put some information together so that we could be ahead of the curve and apply next year, and that would be our anticipation.
Okay.
If the information suggests it's appropriate for us to do so. We haven't discussed timeline when it comes to the elementary schools. I think a larger group of people is going to want to get together to talk about that, and we'll pull something together.
Okay.
But I would think that we would need to have a plan in place in 4 to 5 years. Knowing how long this high school just took from the first time we had a conversation till now, you know, that's a 6-year process. So I'm thinking you really need something 10 years from now, so you probably want to start halfway to really putting a plan together. What that looks like, I'm not sure yet. Whether there's one school somewhere or both community, I mean, I don't know.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your election?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you very,
Thank
very
you.
much. That was
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thanks.
And I will send the full PowerPoint.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, seconded? All those in favor? Okay. Board of Selectmen have adjourned. Good night, everybody.